Welcome back in our episode of NBA 2K14. In the last episode, as the Lakers managed to beat the Warriors in the last game, 122 to 118, are down to the wire to finish by 4 points. Now, next game at the hand, we're off. The first game of the day, we're heading to Chesapeake Energy Arena in Oklahoma City. Is going to be two of the most exciting rivals in the West. It features Tony Parker and Tracy McGrady. Tony Parker and Kawhi Leonard of the San Antonio Spurs take on Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook of the Oklahoma City Thunder, as they both teams are met in each other in the Western Conference Finals in 2012 and a year ago when the Thunder won the series in 6 over the Spurs. And it's going to be a good game since unfortunately Tim Duncan would not be able to play today because of an injury due to the foot, along with Manu Ginobili still not play because of injury due to the fingers. So for this game, the Spurs are going to use the black and the Thunder are going to use the white. Well, that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. We'll be right back after this. Enjoy the video here at the Chesapeake Energy Arena in Oklahoma City. Anyways, let's get started with sending over to Kevin Harlan here in Oklahoma. Here we go with sending over to Kevin Harlan here at Chesapeake Energy Arena, Oklahoma City. Here he is. Enjoy.
Thanks for tuning into 2K Sports' presentation of the NBA. I'm Damon Bruce. Welcome to Wednesday night here in the NBA. It's the San Antonio Spurs going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And now we send you out to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke. I'll catch up with you again at halftime.
I'm waking up to action.
On the road, looking for a win against a Western Conference rival. The San Antonio Spurs are ready for this thing to get started. And get ready for another dose of NBA basketball here with Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. I'm Kevin Harlan. Our starting lineups will look at the matchups here and who we'll see for our starting five for both teams. And guys, taking a look at Thabo Sefolosha, what will we see from him?
You know, every team needs a stopper out on the perimeter, Kevin. There's so many great offensive players in this league, so you've got to have a guy who can shut people down. That's what Sefolosha does. He's savvy, he's long-armed, he's quick laterally, and he knows how to defend.
Yeah, one thing that Thabo always had is that defensive calling card, guys, that great defensive presence. It isn't easy finding guys on the perimeter play like him, and this team is lucky to have him, getting his hands in passing lanes, deflecting passes, always around the ball, lockdown defense, invaluable player. And there's certain to be some disappointment, Clark, because of the injury to Tim Duncan.
There's going to be a few weeks until he's back, but that's not as bad as it could have been. It could have been much worse. In the end, given the way it looked when he was helped off the court last game, I think he'd consider that good news. I agree, Clark. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. And I know being out for a few weeks will be very difficult for him, but this is probably best-case scenario when you really look at that replay of the injury from last game. That was gruesome. Yeah, pleasure to watch him work at that end of the floor. You look back to that 2008 draft, the then Sonics, now Thunder, took Westbrook at the 4 spot. And a lot of people thought that was a reach, but I'll tell you what, you redo the draft right now, and he has a legitimate case of being the number 1 pick.
Rising high to throw that one down.
Sky high, fantastic one-hand jam.
Yeah, what a way to wrap up that possession.
The pass to Sefolosha. And that comes off the assist by Russell Westbrook. Sefolosha's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. Going back to the 2008 draft, Westbrook had played combo guard. UCLA, and there were some questions, I think, among a lot of scouts and personnel guys' minds about his ability to become a full-time point guard.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I think you always have to look at players, not just for what they might become, but what are they when they get to you. And Russell was a guy who was athletic, aggressive, hungry to get better. And when you got those attributes in his athleticism, you're going to be a difference maker in the league, and he's proven that to be the case. You know, he operates so well close to the bucket. There's nothing he likes more than seeing an opening inside.
Got that one for grip.
That bounce pass got him the ball in rhythm. Nice play.
Doris Burke has an update for us. Doris?
Kevin, earlier I had a chance to speak with Greg Popovich. I asked him what he thought would be the key for them, and he told me dealing with the penetration of Russell Westbrook. He's one of the most explosive athletes in the game. We've got to send him to help and rotate early to deny him finishes at the rim. Guys, that's never easy.
Thanks, Doris.
Such a careless pass. You've got to keep your head in the game here.
You know, so much has been said about the Oklahoma City home court advantage, and for good reason. I mean, you can feel it and hear it like a college atmosphere.
That's a good point. Oh, here's Parker. He had 28 points in the win against New Orleans.
Yeah, they couldn't stop him. I mean, they kept sending him to the line over and over again because when you can't stop a guy, you got to foul him. That's what they did.
This team is buzzing right now. They've yet to miss.
Clark, back to what you said. Not only can you hear it when they are here, you can literally feel it. The rumbling, Steve, when you first come out of the tunnel is amazing.
Well, the Thunder have a fantastic team, Kevin, and they've been good the last few years, but you don't go 34-7 at home like they did last season without a significant advantage coming from the crowd, and I think that's been the case here. The crowd is loud and active and fired up every single night.
Fourth three, Durant, and that comes off the assist by Derek Fisher. And that's now 6 points for Kevin Durant.
You know, no matter what you do with Durant defensively, nothing bothers you. You try to be physical.
Hammer time!
Here he comes, and there he goes.
Look at him. Punish that rack.
You know, the guys on the bench are going crazy right now at the sight of that jam.
Coach Popovich was fined last season for sitting out his top players in a nationally televised matchup against the Heat. I certainly understand the league's posture there, and there was a lot said about it. Yet, for a veteran team like the Spurs with championship aspirations, I understand resting key players during the course of the regular season. Not trying to rattle any rims or racks there. Just up and in with the finger roll.
Cephalosha kicks to Fisher. It's Durant on the wing. He feeds it to Fisher from outside the arc, and the shot is good. Fisher's got himself going there, his first points of the game on the deep ball. And back to that fine for Popovich, $250,000. Steve, that'll leave a dent.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, Popovich enjoys tweaking the league at times. This was clearly an effort to do that, but look, I think it's good for him to actually kind of let the league know every once in a while that if you're going to give us that kind of schedule with my older team, I'm going to sit them down once in a while.
Matt Bonner, he's checked in for the Spurs. Jackson comes in for Kawhi Leonard. Fisher dishes to Durant. Some nice passing by Oklahoma City here. On the basket by Jones.
That's now a dozen straight points coming off wide open three-pointers.
You know what it looks like to me out there, guys? I mean, it looks like all-star weekend out there. We know how much defense is played. There's actually defense during the all-star weekend, no D.
Here's Durant, and it's blocked by Bonner. And it's out of bounds to the Thunder as Oklahoma City retains possession. Jackson against Durant. Lamb. The basket good off the assist from Durant. Durant's got 4 assists in the game.
Third three in a row right there.
Adjustment time for the defense, guys.
Here's Jackson using his post move to get the 2 points.
Both teams on fire right from the opening tip.
Pedal to the throttle, Steve, just like we like it.
Durant kicks to Fisher. Three-pointer. And again, Oklahoma City with the triple. Guys back and forth this first half.
Well, 5 lead changes early on, guys, as we grapple back and forth.
This could be a back and forth game all the way, guys, the way it's being played. This is fun to watch.
And here's Mills for 3. That one goes. Count it. Mills has got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. And Fisher kicks to Durant. Smooth as silk on the finger roll.
Brought back the finger roll. That's a nice finesse move to pull off with the defense all over.
Outside, Green. From deep three-point range. A nice first quarter of play. We've seen plenty of offense so far. Thunder lead by 1. We've got more in store for you right after this.
Next Tuesday night, December 3rd, the Detroit Pistons take on LeBron James and the Miami Heat. Be there.
Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going. Back here, and a moment here to take a look at the scoring breakdown for Oklahoma City.
Now, they didn't waste any time getting into a groove out there. They're dialed in from long range.
The other thing they've had going for them tonight is their passing. I mean, doing a nice job. Plenty of their points early on coming off assists.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor. All fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. On the court for San Antonio, they've got Steven Jackson. Matt Bonner is out there with Jeff Telegraph. Then there's Bellinelli, and it's DeColo in at the point. And let's now go to the sideline. We'll catch up here with Doris Burke. Doris?
Guys, Russell Westbrook is one of the most fiery competitors in the NBA. Teammate Kendrick Perkins said he's night and day how he is off the court. He gets in his zone, and he just feels like he's the best player on the court. Westbrook said, I don't mind playing angry. I play angry a lot. Guys, with his size and athleticism, that's a scary thought.
Infectious enthusiasm, Doris. You see it every time he steps on the floor.
The Spurs have always been very mindful of resting key players during the regular season. Some of it has to do with the age of their players. Some of it is regarding talent because they knew they were a playoff team most years. And you look at the research, there is something to be said for not playing guys when they're fatigued because injuries are more likely if you play time.
How about the response? Retaliation. Impressive, huh, guys?
I'll say exactly that as well. Nice job to recover those 3 points right away.
Here's Jackson. Another one falls for San Antonio. Second quarter of basketball, just over a minute and a half played so far. And back to the Spurs and their strategy of resting their star players, not without some controversy. The NBA, as you may recall, fined the Spurs and Coach Popovich for sitting all their starting players for a nationally televised game back in November.
Well, it was their 4th game in 5 nights, and Pop wanted to rest some of their guys because of just the nature of their schedule. But I think the problem was he didn't give the league advance warning. In that game against Miami, when he rested those 3 players, he actually sent them home. And I think that was a little shot at the league. And that's why there was a problem, and that's why the Spurs and Popovich ended up getting fined.
Boy, I love it. Active hands on the steal, active feet on the fast break.
And Clark power on the dunk.
And guys, this is just too close of a game to be giving the ball up like that and then failing to get back in transition.
A different look now for San Antonio. Splitter comes in for Matt Bonner. And Kawhi Leonard subbed in for Steven Jackson. For 3, Durant. It's rebounded by Pendergraft.
You know, one thing with Scott Brooks, guys, he's very consistent with his message. You listen in on those timeouts. It's all about getting stops. Defense, 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 and letting their offense come from that.
And the lead goes right back over. This is a seesaw affair.
The game's there for the taking, but neither team seems to want it.
That's the bucket.
Maybe that'll get him going here in the second quarter. And he's already knocked down 2 in the first.
And Clark, you mentioned Brooks' single-mindedness. He stayed pretty constant with his rotations, too.
And there's no doubt players appreciate knowing their role, but a lot of critics have been surprised at how Brooks has stuck to his lineups. Some lineups that didn't seem to be all that effective. His usual starting lineup with Cephalosha and Perkins on the floor hasn't been their best in terms of plus-minus, but Brooks very loyal to his starting group. He's got to make a defensive adjustment here because he's just... destroying them from three-point land.
Well, even when they closed out on him, Steve, he's knocking them down.
And Joseph kicks to Bellinelli. Splitter. And he banks in the layup. Splitter's got his first 2 points of the night. Clarky talked about a back-and-forth game. This is the definition of that.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Kevin. I mean, not even through the first half, and it's been one heck of a battle.
So these are the kinds of games you love. I mean, two good teams going head-to-head, an even matchup, and both sides very competitive, on their toes tonight.
And San Antonio calls the first time out of the game. And going against Oklahoma City, their first meeting of the year.
Well, we saw how competitive and entertaining the season series was between these two teams last year. That was fun to watch.
And the Spurs making a change here. And now, let's bring you the list of the top three-point shooting teams over the course of the past 10 games. Number 1, the Thunder.
The main factor, I think, is the great spacing that has led to wide-open long-range shots. That's why we see the great numbers from the three-point line.
1:14 left in the first half. He dishes it to McGrady. And so it's going to be a 3-second violation out there on the defense. And they match up really well.
Kevin, they really do. Sometimes it comes down to the X factor when these two teams play. And really, it could go either way. They're that evenly matched.
And he shows the focus there, nails the technical. And Splitter backs down. Parker up top. 6 to shoot. And there's the call on Derek Fisher. That's his first foul.
Tough call there and a tough break for the defense.
But, I think you could still see him kind of sliding in there. I don't have a problem with the call.
A shot by Parker drains the 19-footer. Parker's got 6.
He's not the most flashy point guard out there, and you don't hear his name when people talk about the best point guards in the game, but I think Parker is one of the best in the business when it comes right down to it. He's able to do so many things out there for you and just had a dominant season for the Spurs a year ago.
Steve, Parker's fearlessness going to the hoop is what makes him such a devastating player in crunch time. Often you'll see him go right into a bigger guy, take the contact, and still find a way to finish the play. That is not enough coverage. Got to do better than that defensively. Basically no coverage. I mean, defense did not look very good there.
The Thunder shooting their first free throw of the evening.
Yeah, this is a very good free throw shooting team, guys. I mean, you look at the numbers, impressive.
And guys, those numbers represent a nice step up from what they were last year.
Tipped. And it's out of bounds. The Spurs able to retain possession here.
16 seconds on the shot.
Parker.
We've got 22 seconds left here in the second. And Pendergraft kicks to Leonard. Puts the lead pass in front of him. Looks for McGrady. Gets it to him. Shot clock at 6. Parker fires. That's good. Great play set up by T-Mac. Tracy McGrady. McGrady's got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight. And Fisher kicks to Durant. And it's rejected. And the first half ends in a close one. It's San Antonio. They lead by 2. Time now for the halftime break, with the third quarter soon to follow, right here on 2K Sports.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
It's Wednesday night. We're almost over the hump. This is the 2K Sports Halftime. San Antonio battling in a close one against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Off to a good start here in the early going of the season, playing above 500. Kawhi Leonard having no trouble against Oklahoma City's defense. At the break, 7 points and is putting out the effort defensively as well, making his presence felt on both ends of the floor. And Oklahoma City's also looking good in the first half. The three-point shooting, ridiculous. They're knocking down everything. An unbelievable display by Kevin Durant. He's up to 14 points and is up to his usual tricks, dropping a lot of dimes all over the court. A few tight games around the NBA. Let's check them out. Out at Target Center, the Timberwolves are ahead against the Nuggets. Things are pretty close out there in the third quarter of action. Checking out what lies ahead for us. The Suns out in Phoenix will go up against the Trailblazers. Some nice Western Conference basketball on display there. 7 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific is the tip time. And now, a look at the other NBA action. It'll be the Golden State Warriors up against the Mavericks out in Dallas. A 7:30 Eastern tip time. That will be all for us. Thanks for stopping in. We'll see you next time.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first half. Third quarter starting here now.
What a performance from Durant here. He has 14 points, and he's drained 4 three-pointers here as well.
With more to come, maybe. The way his shot looks tonight, looks like he's in for a big night.
That guard is Westbrook and Cephalosha. And outside at the 3 with Ibaka playing the power forward. And it's Perkins in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. That's the lineup out there for the Thunder. The Spurs have had 2 chances at the line already, making them both.
Well, I think this is one of the more amazing stats in sports when you think about it. No matter the season or the roster, the Spurs just seem to find ways to win 50 games. They've done it 14 straight seasons now, which is off the charts.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, as you know, gentlemen, Greg Popovich is one of the foremost practitioners of the intentional fouling that sends poor free throw shooters to the line. Not exactly a fan favorite, and Pop says, quote, "I think it's ugly. I think it's awful. But it's legal. It's there. If somebody doesn't want to get hacked, they should shoot free throws better." Guys, he's all about winning. Whether it's pretty or ugly, he doesn't care.
They wear you down, Doris. Thank you so much. Under trailing by 4. Clark, as you said, the Spurs last season hitting 50 wins for the 14th consecutive season. By the way, that's an NBA record. Second closest were the Lakers with 12 straight, Steve, from 79 to 91.
Yeah, 58 wins last season for San Antonio. Greg Popovich calls it corporate knowledge, just the consistency that comes with the experience of the group. And they've been together so long, particularly that core, that I think it allows the Spurs to really kind of cruise at times during the regular season.
McGrady, covered by Cephalosha. McGrady passes to Split, and down it goes. Dunked through off a wonderful assist. This game's going to take a big swing. Clark, if the D continues to clear out like that and get... easy dunk.
Yeah, that's the kind of defense we expect to see in a blowout, Kevin, or even an exhibition game, not a close game like this.
Speed is over.
No, you know what, come on, I just like that he didn't choose to just lay it up. I mean, he threw it down with force.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Steven Jackson checked in for Kawhi Leonard. Green comes in for McGrady. Mitch Mills in for Tony Parker.
And with Harden out of OKC, he knew that Russell Westbrook would have a lot of burden on his shoulders to be a playmaker, and he responded. I think he was very active last year in terms of distributing the ball.
Really good awareness right there on the assist.
Outside Durant. Just under 2.5 minutes into the third quarter now. Westbrook dishes to Durant. And Jackson with the block.
Well, still a great start to the half after hitting their first 3, even before that miss. I'd say that shot was well within his range.
You think so? I mean, I was pretty good from 2 feet and in myself. That's a gimme there.
And for Westbrook playing alongside Durant, some have said he needs to be more of a passer, less of a scorer. Clark at that point guard position.
I think that's some of the most misguided criticism that anybody could levy at him. He is a scorer. He is an aggressive, attacking guard. I just think he has to play to his strengths, and that's where he is, and that's who he is. And I think he's fantastic. I don't think there's anybody that's more dangerous in the backcourt than Russell Westbrook.
And the Spurs making a change here.
Kevin, it's still early on in the season, but let's take a moment to see where the Thunder sit right now. First in shooting percentage, fourth in three-point field goal percentage. And they're a top 10 shooting team from the foul line. Pretty good company for that team.
And the shooting is really what stands out to me. This is a team that does such a good job of finding open looks. They're unselfish. They work offensively to create good shots. And when they do that, they're on their game. They're tough to beat. Textbook right there. Nice pass, great catch, beautiful finish.
You know, with the recent success of Oklahoma City, you forget that in Kevin Durant's first season, they started out going 3-29. And I tell you what, you talk about their success, it's due to the resilience and perseverance and leadership of Kevin Durant and the rest of those guys.
Leonard kicks to Mills. Has to split it. Uses the glass to finish the layup. Splitters got 4 this quarter. Thunder trailing by 3. Westbrook kicks to Lamb. Back to Westbrook for the tie. Gets it to go. Well, there is a culture of hard work, as Clark is talking about, and the perseverance for this Oklahoma City Thunder organization. Their star players, Steve, get a lot of credit, but it's the whole organization, don't you think?
No question. It's the culture that was set. Scott Brooks has continued to kind of establish that atmosphere in the locker room. And they have players who just want to work and want to get better. And when you have a large group of people all with that same approach, you're going to be very successful. You know, something that's kept this game close is the fact that rebound totals are almost identical.
No separation there, not yet anyway.
Some changes here for the Spurs. Jeff Pendergrass checking in for Jackson. Jay Colo comes in for Daniel Green. And Corey Joseph subbed in for Patrick Mills.
Spurs would end up as the second seed in the West and were right in the hunt for being the top seed for the majority of last season. But one reason they fell short was that they just weren't as good as they needed to be during in-conference games.
Thunder have gotten nearly everything to drop this quarter. They're 7 of 8 from the floor since halftime. Here's Lamb. And that comes off the assist by Russell Westbrook. And 12 points for Lamb.
And another three-pointer to their second half total.
Yeah, they caught that long-range bug at halftime, and it's been bombs away ever since.
5 seconds left in the third quarter. And it's blocked by Fisher. Oh, and the game still closely contested as we end the third quarter. Thunder lead by 3. Don't go anywhere. The final quarter is coming up next on 2K Sports.
NBA season is in full swing. Paul George and the Indiana Pacers take on Chris Paul and the Los Angeles Clippers. It's the NBA next Sunday.
We welcome you back to what has been a good one here as we get into the fourth quarter. And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for Oklahoma City.
Well, their passing has been picturesque, a thing of beauty in both halves. More than a few of their baskets have come off assists.
And they continue to knock down the long-range three-point shot as well.
On the floor for San Antonio, Jeff Pendergraph out there with Kawhi Leonard. Then it's Corey Joseph. Then it's Splitter, and it's DeColo in a two-guard. Pendergraph in the post. Covered by Cephalosha. And Pendergraph kicks to Leonard. Passes it to DeColo. Just 5 to shoot. A strong finish under heavy pressure all over. DeColo's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Spurs. And Fisher kicks to Durant. Unloads from 13. Right side Leonard. The finger roll finish at the bucket. All right, well, look at how the hustle game has been going for San Antonio.
You know, block shots, guys, a clear indicator on the stat sheet of their excellent defense. I mean, leaving them no room to get off any shots.
And another area where they've done a great job tonight is forcing the issue defensively and getting some steals.
Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Over the last break, Kevin, I got a chance to hear what Scott Brooks said to his team. He let his players know that they've got to do a better job on defense. He said they're scoring any way they want. We've got to show some pride here. Let's make a stand defensively, get us stops, and get on a run of our own. Do they have it in them, Kevin?
Oklahoma City comes into this one after the win against Utah.
Well, Kevin, they constructed a perfect offensive game plan going into that game, and it was quickly apparent how powerless the defense was to stop them.
Powerless is a good way to put it, Steve. We're unlikely to see that many uncontested baskets again anytime soon.
Cephalosha kicks to Durant. Right side Durant. And Oklahoma City again with the bucket.
He's been one of their more reliable options today, guys. I mean, his shooting has led them to this lead.
Now the feed to Splitter. The dish to Mills. And Durant with the block. Right side Durant. And Jackson with the block. Mills with it. Teardrop shot. Gets it to go. Mills has got 9 points now in just the second half.
You know, of the last 6 baskets, 5 have come on the interior. This is major smash-mouth basketball, guys.
Love it. Old school. Just physical play in the paint. Dominate.
And here's Westbrook from the arc. The basket good off the assist from Durant. Durant's got his 8th assist here tonight. San Antonio calls timeout. They defeated the Pelicans in their last game.
Yeah, that was a strange game. Very shaky defensive performance by their opponent, but hey, they took advantage of it.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. I mean, the game wasn't handed to them, but they definitely didn't have to work as hard as they should have.
Looking at who's out there now for the Spurs. Tracy McGrady's checked in for Jackson. And Tony Parker subbed in for Patrick Mills. Parker fires. Again, the Spurs good for 2.
This has been a terrific contest up to this point, and I would guess it's going to stay this way all the way to the end. Great matchup.
Probably so. Neither team wants to give it in. Boy, such outstanding patience and decision-making for them offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. Their ball movement has been outstanding. They are piling up the assists.
McGrady passes to Splitter. McGrady defended by Durant. Off the pick. Another one falls for San Antonio.
He had a whole lot of space to get that shot.
Yeah, I don't think the defender did a good job there of getting over the top of the screen.
The basket come up in the foul. Oh, what a play.
This is some kind of performance we're seeing from him today. He has yet to miss a shot.
A free throw off from Westbrook. Spurs trail by 3. Leonard kicks to Pendergraft. And it is flushed. With a nice jam.
He is an automatic finisher when he gets into that area.
You know, he picks the simple, one-handed stuff to get the 2 points.
And those could be an important 2 points, too, guys, in a close game like this one.
Here's Westbrook. lays it in without an inch of room around him. Westbrook's got 20 points. Big time bucket there, Clark.
Kevin, the crowd is loving it.
Well, they know exactly how big that shot was.
Here's Parker. Parker left side. Gets it to go.
And now both of these clubs really in a groove here.
Already a high-scoring game, but it has become an offensive showcase down the stretch.
Money!
Oh, that is a massive shot.
You know it is. He's stepping right into the spotlight.
Now here's Cephalosha. McGrady covering. Durant kicks to Cephalosha. Laces one from three.
He is setting this place on fire, fellas. His shooting has been off the chart.
Dishes at the limit. Chops up a three. That is good.
He's such a clutch shooter, Kevin. He just lives for the big shot.
Cephalosha with it. Now defended by Pendergrass. Durant just inside the line. Nails it.
Somebody lit a fire under Kevin Durant.
San Antonio's gone 2 for 2 from three-point land to start the fourth quarter. Splitter covered by Perkins. 5-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. It's Parker with the drive. And so they foul intentionally.
Yeah, you got to freeze the clock. That's the enemy in this situation.
A few misses at the line, and they're in good shape.
He drops the first one, and that will put them up by 2. And so both free throws are good. And it's a 3-point game.
That last free throw is critical. Their only choice now is to go for the three to tie.
There's 10 seconds left to play here in the fourth.
You know, his performance has been so important to this team. He's as dependable as ever, guys.
Time called here. The Thunder decide to talk it over. Seven seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Durant for three. Beautiful buzzer beater just in time.
Nothing but zeros on the clock as he drains the winner. What a finish.
And he never had a doubt. He was celebrating the moment it had left his hand.
So a close game sees Oklahoma City taking this one. And Clark, you know, it was quite a nail-biter.
Yeah, it was tight. Their guys were able to come up with big plays down the stretch, and that's the difference.
And that about wraps it up for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA presented by 2K Sports. And now, Jordan presents our player of the game, Kevin Durant.
Unbelievable finish in Oklahoma City as the Thunder knocked off the Spurs and down to the final seconds. Kevin Durant got 29 points, 9 assists. Westbrook got 9 assists as well. Parker got 22. Unbelievable finish for the OKC Thunder. Knocks off the Spurs down to the wire. And now we're going to skip all the way to the Lakers-Nets game. So we got the Blazers and the Suns. It's the Blazers win over the Suns. Grizzlies and the Celtics. Grizzlies get a job done, defeat the Celtics. Lakers and the Nets. Lakers wins the game. So let's check out the view box score here. Jerome Green got 17 and 9. Aldridge got 22 and 6. The Grizzlies and the Celtics, as Bradley got 17, Tony Allen got 17, Mike Conley got 16, Mike Miller got 14, Marc Gasol got 14, 11. And then last but not least, the Lakers beat the Nets. Jason Terry got 33, Kobe Bryant got 36, and Nick Young got 21 and 10. So what a good finish in Oklahoma City. So now, next game at our hand, we're off to Cleveland, Ohio. Is gonna be the most returns, the highly matchups of the two of the East rivalry. It is gonna be LeBron James, Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat take on Kyrie Irving and Dion Waiters of the Cleveland Cavaliers. As we wrap up the first game of the NBA Monday, as the Thunder defeat the Spurs down to the final seconds in the game-winning shot by Kevin Durant to save it to stun Spurs. As fortunately, Tim Duncan announced will be not play today because of injury due to the sprained foot. So that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin as the Thunder beat the Spurs in a close game, 95-92. I'm Andre Kenshin. Stay tuned for Chesapeake Energy Arena in Oklahoma City. We'll see you later on the second game of the night. Heads to Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland for the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Sign up and peace out. Good night, and reminder, we'll see you later on tonight for the Heat and the Cavs. Sign up and peace out. Goodbye.